There were long lines at the opening day of this COVID-19 vaccination centre at New York's famous Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. It was expecting to immunise 15,000 people a week, but that's far below the 40,000 it has the capacity to treat if it had enough doses. Like other states across the US, New York says it's getting too few sent to them by the federal government.
There are not enough actual vaccines available, meaning we don't have enough supply coming from Pfizer and Moderna. And so it can be challenging on a week-to-week basis for the state to know what's going to be available to them and then where they're going to give those doses within the state.
The shortage has been compounded by claims it's too difficult to figure out who can get the jab and how. Each state has the power to decide which of its residents are eligible. And so a teacher here in New York can get the vaccine. But those that live a 10-minute train ride away in New Jersey can't. There are also complaints that some states have multiple appointment websites and a complicated online sign-up process.
It varies across the states in terms of their ability to have a centralized approach, and I think some are looking at how they might be able to kind of advance that quickly now. If you have a more kind of dispersed approach, that's what's really creating, the confusion for folks and having to kind of go to different sites.
The recent diagnosis of the B.1.351 variant of the virus in a patient in New York, the 17th case in the US, has also increased pressure on officials to speed up the immunization program. And pharmaceutical firms are still working out how to make their vaccines more effective against the mutation.
Good afternoon, folks.
Since becoming president, Joe Biden has made the vaccine rollout his number one priority. But despite being the head of the federal government, he does not have the power to overrule individual states to change how they run their vaccine programs.
There doesn't really seem to be a straightforward way for the federal government to step in and say, this is a mess, we're going to now use X. Like X doesn't exist, and so they would have to create that, and that would be even more problematic. Where Biden might have more control is trying to make sure that the flow of vaccines continues, and he can try to provide advice and financial support to the states.
Good afternoon.
The Biden administration has warned it could take some time to resolve the issues with the vaccine rollout across the US. It says the federal government has now purchased enough doses to inoculate all American adults and that they should be available to almost everyone by the summer. Sarah Walton, SABC, New York.